What's up, guys? I'm Nobody Special, and I just got a comment about supply chain shocks from a viewer, and I wanted to do a quick response video. This is from Rafiul Anwar, who says, I want to ask what's your opinion or perspective on supply chain shocks healing, and also if you see the USA investing in agricultural food production to give some healing. Feel like nobody talks about the steps that can be taken to get this back under control. Well, Rafael, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, I don't think we are getting any healing anytime soon. I think we're actually going to make things a lot worse in the near future. Now, look, the supply chain shocks last year, most people blame those on COVID and the sudden surge in spending from American consumers. We ordered so much stuff. That stuff had to squeeze through our ports, and it caused congestion and delays in shipping, and that caused the supply chain problems. That problem isn't really as bad anymore. It's almost gone away. What we're dealing with now is a whole new supply chain problem, and this is caused by deglobalization. See, simply put, our leaders suck at their jobs, and that's our leaders here in the West and the leaders in the East. They all suck. They're really bad at their jobs. Nobody's playing nice in the sandbox. They're all fighting and bickering and arguing and starting outright kinetic wars. That's bad for doing business. You see, the world has spent the last 30 years globalizing, which means unlike the last century where everybody made everything they need, well, now that's not the case anymore. See, we make a whole lot of stuff here. We make a lot of these, and we ship some of these over to China. Well, China makes a whole bunch of those, and they ship those back over here. Well, Europe makes a little bit of thems, and thems get shipped over here in exchange for some of these, and those and these and this and that, and it all gets shipped all around. Everybody specializes and makes something, but nobody makes everything. And with all of these wars starting up with China and Russia going back behind the Iron Curtain, well, that's bad for business. And now there's none of these getting shipped over there, and there's none of those getting shipped over here. So we have a surplus of these and a shortage of those, and they have a surplus of those and a shortage of these. Do you see how this causes problems in trade? This causes the whole supply chain to break down. Now, that's very, very bad for inflation, because one of the reasons why we haven't had that much inflation in the last 20 years has been because all of the manufacturing in the United States has been outsourced over to China, where the labor was cheaper. Well, that's a problem now, because very soon we may not have access to all that cheap labor and all that stuff being manufactured over in China. And by the way, it's not that cheap anymore. The Chinese standard of living has risen substantially, so that labor is getting more expensive. So what's going to happen? Well, we're going to have to start making those back over here now, where the labor is much more expensive here in the States. Well, that's good if you're in the manufacturing sector. That means more jobs coming back to this country. But that also means an even tighter labor market driving wages higher, and that also means much more expensive consumer goods on the shelves in American stores. And the same can be said all over the world, because really Asia has been the factory of the world for the last 30 years. That is going away. The world is deglobalizing, and it's deglobalization that is causing most of the supply chains we're seeing today, in particular in the agriculture space, because the problems in the ag space stems largely from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. There's no Ukrainian grain reaching market, but also Europe couldn't make any fertilizer last year because of the Russian gas embargo. Well, no fertilizer means lower crop yields. Well, that problem is about to get a whole heck of a lot worse, because Europe won't be making any fertilizer at all this winter, not with the Russian gas shutoff, which means higher fertilizer prices, which means more expensive fertilizer, farmers using less, lower crop yields. It means food is going to get more expensive. So unfortunately, these supply chain problems are going to get worse for the foreseeable future, not better. And it's not because of COVID. It's because our leaders suck at their jobs.